How's it going, everybody? So one of the biggest expenses in every wood shop is the circular saw blades. Whether it's a circular saw or a table saw, these blades are incredibly expensive. You can easily spend anywhere from $50 to even $100 on a single 10-inch table saw blade. I, just like a lot of other woodworkers, usually just buys a new blade whenever the old one gets dull. The other day I was scrolling through Amazon and I came across these diamond cutting wheels for a Dremel. They only cost about 1/5 of the price of a brand new table saw blade, so I decided to learn how to sharpen my blades instead of buying new ones. If any of you are interested in trying this, I'm going to be putting a link down in my description to these diamond cutting wheels. I figure I can't be the only one who's tired of buying these new table saw blades. So if saving money on your blades interests you, go check these out. They also work on bandsaw blades. I have so many of these table saw blades that I've accumulated from different places and different projects, so I have a bit of a pick of the litter to find my favorite blades and bring them back to life. Zombie blades. Hell yeah.
Yeah! Daddy, what are you doing?
I'm bringing the saw blades back to life. It's a zombie blade. Now these blades can only be sharpened if the carbide's teeth are still intact. Some of the blades have been chipped and broken and can't be resharpened. I even found one in the pile where the teeth were completely missing. I'm not really sure what happened to that one. Obviously that one has to be trashed. I decided I wanted to see whether or not I was actually making a difference by sharpening these, and so I ran 3 test cuts and timed each of the cuts to see how long each one took. This way I could have a baseline. When you look at the teeth on most table saw blades, you'll notice that not all of the teeth are set to the same angle. Some lean left to about 10 degrees or so, and some lean to the right. This is so that the blade gets a cleaner cut in each of the corners. Some blades will even have a flat tooth every 3rd tooth or so to get a flat bottom on the cut. Now I don't have any of those, so that means I'm only going to have to go around each blade twice to sharpen each of the teeth.
Don't forget to unplug your table saw.
You definitely want to make sure the saw is off when you do this. In my opinion, if you're going to be sharpening a table saw blade, it's best to do it on the saw. This way your result is completely repeatable. I start by marking one tooth so I know when I've made it around the whole blade. Then I find the angle of the teeth on the right side of the blade and I grind each tooth as close to the same as I can. Then I can switch sides and go around the blade on the left. This first table saw blade that I'm sharpening is only a few months old, and so I'm not expecting a huge difference when I sharpen it. But if I'm able to sharpen it at all, it should be measurable. After I was done sharpening one of the blades, I decided to do 3 more test cuts, and then I wanted to see if sharpening underneath each tooth would change it any more than sharpening on the top of the tooth alone. I was actually really surprised about how that turned out. Okay, so I came up with some very interesting data on this one. So obviously the unsharpened blade, it took the longest to push through each of the boards. And when I sharpened only the top of the teeth, I was able to reduce that considerably. I think that's close to about 25% for the top 2. And for the 3rd board, it actually increased a tiny bit. I think that that's not really, I don't think there's enough of a change there to really matter. I don't think there's much of a change there at all. I did end up getting rid of my first measurement on my 3rd board here because the board wobbled so much when I was running it through the saw. So I cut out the 28 and the other ones are 22, 23, which gives me an average of 22.5. So when I sharpened just the top of the tooth, I actually got the best result. When I sharpened the bottom of the tooth as well, I either did it wrong or it doesn't need to be sharpened. I may have changed the angle. I'm not 100% sure why, but I ended up increasing each of the times consistently. Even the 3rd board increased its time. I'll have to go back and check the footage on that. So basically what I want to do with the rest of my table saw blades, since I got the best result with just sharpening the top of each tooth, I'm going to go through all of the blades that I want to keep, and I'm just going to sharpen the top of them. Well, thanks everyone for sticking around. I know this is a much shorter video than what I normally put out, but I think it was absolutely worth it. This is going to save me a ton of money in the shop. Honestly, I think I have enough of these table saw blades to last me the next 20 years if I keep sharpening them. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Catch y'all next time.